Hello, and hi everyone watching at home. Thank you so much for staying up in the middle of the night for this. I really appreciate it. Uh, Before I begin, I'm Tanvi, by the way. Before I begin, I would like to ask you all, how many of us in this room have tried to save money? Most of us have. Much like sticking to a weight loss diet or adopting a new habit, it is very difficult. We all need motivation and a little push to keep us going. And now imagine how much more difficult it will be to save if all you are earning is less than $2 a day. As difficult as it is for us to imagine what this really means, this is the reality for 270 million people living in my home, most of them living in villages. So, how do you find the motivation to save in a situation like this? Today, I'm going to talk to you about Hataat, a program that is trying to answer this question. To tell you all how, we are going to a small village in Akola. I wanted to understand what living on less than $2 actually means. So here, along with learning how to wear the traditional dress of the community, I also learned about how the people live and work and their relationship with money. While I was here, I met Varsha, who lives in the village with her 3 daughters. Like most other women here, she does not own any land. So she works on other farms near her home to earn money. A day's hard work earns her less than $2. This little amount of money is what she has to run her home, educate her girls, and then even try and save for their future. Her work in the farms is affected by the seasons, and so her income also keeps changing. These months of the summer are particularly very difficult for her. So her income, like we saw, is not only low, but is also unpredictable. There are some services in the village to help her save her money, like the bank, but she does not feel comfortable using these because she feels like she's losing control over her own money. So she does not use it. There are also self-help savings groups, which are essentially a government scheme in which a group of women come together, open a common bank account, and save money in it every month. But because it demands a fixed sum of money from her, it doesn't give her flexibility, so she does not use this either. So how does she save money then? I learned that saving for her is keeping the money left over after immediate expenses at home. But saving money at home is not easy. The biggest challenge she faces here is that she is not able to hold on to her money at home. It gets spent in small amounts over the week, so she can't retain anything. If anything at all does remain, it is so little that she doesn't consider it enough for her goals or to put in the bank. It is so little that it does not motivate her to save. So going back to this question, would these women who are the most financially vulnerable in the village be motivated to save if the saving experience could become tangible, flexible, maybe even fun? So putting all this together, I created Hataat, which means in my hand in Marathi. It is a program which gives the women 3 key things to enable them to save: a social commitment to save together, a trigger which helps them make a conscious decision to save, and a reward for keeping up this commitment. So now let me show you what this looks like. Through a workshop in the village, Varsha and her friends are introduced to the program, and they talk about their goals and why they are saving. They all make a commitment to save together, and also decide a day when they will take their savings to the bank. Next comes the trigger, which is a wallet just like her own. But it has a surprise. It has a hidden sleeve which can be attached inside with buttons. This becomes a trigger because it gives her a moment to consciously keep some part of her money aside as saving. While it makes the saved money hard to reach, it still gives her the option to use it if there is an emergency. Finally, on the day of the bank, the women take this saving and go and deposit it. Their visit is recorded in a community scorecard, and as a reward, they also receive a token just like this one. So I tested a short version of this with 20 women for 1 month. And it turned out to be a very significant month for these women. A majority of them were able to save much more than what they were saving before. Varsha, who had only 70 cents left over from the month before, surprised herself when she was able to save almost $14 now, which is about 1,000 rupees. This made them more confident about their savings and their ability to save. More important than the amount of money was the sense of control and agency that these women felt. It made Kanta feel more secure because she didn't have to borrow money to shop for her home in the market. They also wanted to continue doing this to save for some of the goals we spoke about in the workshop. Like Lalita said, she would save now for another month to buy a gas cylinder for her home, which she wasn't sure when she would be able to do otherwise. Each woman determined how much or how little she could save, so this did not put any pressure on her to save. She used the wallet in a way that she decided. So all this made the experience of saving flexible for her. Like Pramila told me, she was not scared that a self-help group officer would come to her home and take something away if she was not able to save. Another reason why the women were able to save was that they took this up as a challenge. Being a part of this small group, making this social commitment, made them, like Yamuna said, want to prove that they could do it. But even if they were saving more than what they were before, they were still hesitant to take this money to the bank. And apart from the apparent reasons like the increased unpredictability of income at this time or the physical distance to the bank, this pointed to a subconscious behavior of hesitation, maybe even distrust, which is stopping them from using the bank. Today, the government of the country is making huge efforts to bring the 270 million people we spoke about earlier into the fold of a more secure financial system, which is what makes a program like Hataat very relevant now, because it is enabling an important part of this effort, saving at home. The next step for this program would be to understand more deeply the behavior which is causing the gap between savings and the bank, to explore other alternatives to financial security. For these women like Varsha, the journey to a stable financial life is very, very long and incredibly hard. Hataat is a small but sure first step. It is a framework of a social commitment, trigger, and reward, which has the potential to be scaled and adapted to many more villages like this one in Akola, so that many more women like this are able to keep their savings in their hand. Thank you.